Welcome to the Back to Me podcast, where we help multicultural incoming freshman women and men manage their entire college experience throughout post-graduation to successfully transition into entrepreneurship and corporate workspaces as new hires.
Back to me. Oh, I turned it around. I'm back to me. I finally figured it out. I'm back to me. So when you think you have nothing, back to me. I go back to me. Yeah, I'm back to me.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Yoli Tamu. Let's talk about empathy. Do we really want to understand each other? As we wrap up Suicide Prevention Month, we welcome back licensed clinical professional counselor Clifton Bright Jr. for an honest dive into the challenges people face with their feelings in today's world. Clifton unpacks 3 distinct types of empathy to emphasize their value, especially in times of crisis, and guides us through the art of listening to understand rather than simply respond. Don't miss the unforgettable story he shares about a survivor who jumped off a bridge and lived, illuminating what it truly takes to show up for someone in pain. We'll explore the ways to recognize healthy and safe relationships that foster healing from trauma. And Clifton also shares how our podcast has impacted his practice over the past 5 years. Enjoy. My goodness, we are wrapping up Suicide Prevention Month, and we have been inviting back some of our favorites, some of our powerful guests, and I'm so glad to have Clifton Bright Jr., licensed clinical professional counselor, with us to have this powerful conversation. How you doing, Clifton?
I'm doing pretty good. A little tired. We out here in Maryland.
Oh, you're in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, we're in Maryland, so
we got that 3-hour spread, huh?
We got that 3-hour difference.
So I am grateful. Thank you. All right. Well, so much has been happening in the world, and that word empathy has been just traveling many circles. And I just feel like, hey, let's have a conversation about empathy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And let's break it down. So before we get into it, what have you been up to? How has life been? I mean, when you first came on, you were there for me when I lost my father, and you gave us a great Father's Day episode. So what you been up to? How's everything?
Everything is good. Family is growing. Just celebrated 20 years of marriage to my wonderful wife, Ivana, who's a school teacher. So we have really been having conversations about empathy because we're in fields where we touch people every day in a way where we have to deal with their emotional states and where they are, the things that are happening. And, you don't want to be reactive. And to not be reactive, it requires tapping into being empathetic.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been doing good. Kids are getting big. My youngest is 10 now.
Oh.
So
almost a teenager. Oh, look, almost a middle schooler, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost a middle schooler, getting close. Still seeing clients in private practice. And I love what I do. You see how tough things are getting when you're dealing with different people on a day-to-day basis. You start to kind of see, because everybody has an individual story, right? But you start to see like common threads of how challenged people are and how much pressure they feel and how often they're really hiding or don't feel like they can permit themselves to really engage with how they feel, especially with men, because a lot of them feel like they have to perform.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't have time to feel heavy. I don't have time to feel this weight. I don't have time to tell I'm tired. I don't have time to pick people. Day by day, it's getting harder, which is why this month is so important with Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, because, suicide doesn't discriminate, doesn't matter what race you are. Doesn't matter your financial status, doesn't matter what you do, what titles you have, how much money you have, who you think you are, where you live. No one's immune, right?
Yes. Well, man, I remember. Okay, so you have been serving men. That has been primarily your clients, would you say? Or are you serving everybody?
I'm serving everybody, primarily men to work with. But I work with everybody. Try not to work with anybody under 12.
Got it.
That's just kind of in my wheelhouse. Not that I won't,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's really like in my wheelhouse. That's where I feel people get the highest level of me in my clinical work.
Well, hey, you helped us. This is number 3 for you. You've been with us, and I appreciate you. And I remember you just tapping into that young woman on campus. And so, we serve the college student that's incoming and dealing with anxiety going to school, and then that post grad heading out. And so when we think about young men and women, particularly men, because I know that is a population you serve and have a heart for, so to speak. So when we talk about empathy, it is time to be vulnerable and open up and speak. So, how would you define empathy? Let's start there. What's your definition?
My definition of empathy is when you're displaying empathy, it's different from sympathy where you are feeling a sorrow for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when, unfortunately, like a family member or a friend passes or something tragic happens to a person and you're like, oh man, I feel so sad that this happened for you. Or people often say, I feel sorry for your loss and sorry for what happened. Empathy is different where it's not about me feeling sorrow for a person. It's about me getting into the place where I am understanding that person's world and their view and what's going on with them. It's me understanding what they're feeling, the emotions that are going on, even feeling their feelings, almost in a sense where that old saying, if you put your feet in my shoes, you would understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
So that's empathy in action. And empathy is essential in having healthy relationships with people. Because oftentimes where relationships struggle with health, it's often because we're struggling to see what the other person is experiencing and comprehend where they're coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very much, I just see this thing from my lens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't see where you're at with it, And even in empathy, I've seen like 3 different types. Like there's affective empathy, where you have the ability to show up in a way that's appropriate to somebody else's feelings. Like, for instance, if somebody comes to me crying about something and I'm able to, oh man, tell me about it. What do you need? Do you need a hug or do you just need me to be here? I wouldn't laugh at them showing that sorrow and showing up with that emotion. So that's like affective empathy.
Mm.
Then you have somatic empathy, where you like feel what they're feeling almost like internally. Because anytime you see the word somatic, it pertains to like feeling things in your body. Like, for instance, if somebody says, I feel anxious, there's usually a somatic or a body component that goes with it. So like, I'm feeling anxious, my heart rate has elevated, or I'm shaking, or I feel chills, which is telling you like the way the body is experiencing that feeling of anxiety, right? So that's somatic empathy, like you're feeling it.
Yeah.
Within yourself. And then the other one is cognitive empathy. That's that ability to understand and comprehend like why a person may behave the way they did or why they took the action that they did. Doesn't necessarily mean you're justifying it or agreeing with it, because oftentimes people think me saying I understand where you're coming from or I understand what you did means I'm agreeing with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case. That's just saying I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, you see it that way. Oh, you're experiencing it that way. I see where you're coming from. That to me is what empathy is.
Mm-hmm. And being healthy, as you said. I'm glad you said that.
Exactly.
That's a healthy way to be. So based on what you said, why do you think having empathy is so important when supporting someone in crisis?
Well, because when you're supporting someone in crisis, right? Unfortunately, I've seen cases where people have told others, I'm depressed or I'm having thoughts of harming myself. And people have told them, mainly probably because of a place of not feeling comfortable in that space, and said, oh, you don't seem depressed. Or what do you need to be depressed for? You have a great life. Or you ain't gonna hurt yourself. We don't do that. We black. Oh, and these other things that, get said. And when you're practicing empathy, you're looking to support that person in that crisis and you're looking to evaluate where they are. So it's like, instead of saying, Why are you acting like that? Or why do you feel like that? Help me understand what's going on with you. Help me understand what's going on that has you considering harming yourself.
Yeah.
What do you need from me? Do you need my ear? Do you need me to be there with you? Do you need me to just sit with you? And empathy also allows you to not blow it off and to not diminish the impact of the severity of it, right? Because like when somebody's in crisis and they're telling you where they're at, because oftentimes like when somebody has suicidal ideation, that's often attributed to them feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
Or them feeling like the pain they're experiencing won't stop and won't end. And they have that thought that maybe it would stop if I'm not here anymore. So a person would benefit from you practicing empathy in that space so you can know where they're coming from.
So it sounds like it's not about solving it. It's about listening.
It is. It is, because when you try to solve it, sometimes when you try to solve something, people often don't feel heard. So like if somebody comes to you and says, you know what, I'm really struggling at work. And you say, well, you know what you need to do when you go to work tomorrow is you need to check that boss and do this. And the person will be like, well, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
Because in your trying to solve it, did you allow them to really get what they may have been looking for in that moment? Maybe they were just looking to be heard. Maybe they were just looking to be seen. And, of course, when people come to you and they're talking about something they're dealing with, especially if you're lean towards fixing, right? If you're a problem solver, you immediately kind of want to go in that space where, hey, well, let me help you work this out. But it's oftentimes people want to be seen and heard, and it can make a tremendous difference in their lives, So it's like you want the person to hear you and not only just listen, because there's times where people listen to defend themselves or listen to rebuttal what you're saying or discredit it versus listening to understand.
Yes.
When you're listening to understand, you're not trying to fix it. Not immediately anyway. You're not thinking about that. You're trying to identify and locate where that person is. You're looking to see what their world looks like. So that's what makes it so crucial and important, especially when a person's in crisis. Because when a person's in crisis, that literally can make the difference between that person living, that person passing away, or that person being in a detrimental place and state. Like, is that the Golden Gate Bridge behind you? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I heard this young man on a podcast and he was talking about how he survived jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. And the part that really struck me and really had me like, oh, wow, was how he talked about waking up in the morning and deciding he was going to die by suicide. And he had talked to his father that morning and they just had casual conversation. He was kind of hoping his dad would really check in with him, and he didn't. So he said, okay. So he gets on the bus to go to the Golden Gate Bridge. And the whole time he's on the bus, he's thinking within himself, if one person is nice to me, I won't jump off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my goodness.
And he's on the bus the whole time and nobody talks to him. Nobody interacts with him. So he's like, okay, he gets to the Golden Gate Bridge, gets off the bus. He says, I'm going to jump. Comes across a young lady right before he's getting ready to go to the part of the bridge he wants to jump off of. And the young lady says, hey, take a picture of him.
Oh.
And she gives him her phone. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe she'll be nice. He takes the picture. She snatches her phone away and walks away.
Oh, no.
So he says, see, it doesn't matter. So he goes to the edge of the bridge and he says, as soon as he takes his foot off to jump, he immediately regrets it. But of course, that drop is quick.
Yes.
But he talked about how he shattered several bones in his body on impact. But he said a sea lion came up and held him up from sinking till the Coast Guard got to him.
What?
And I said, man,
Oh my God.
And he was like, I knew that let me know that was a miracle. That let me know I had a purpose. And now he does suicide prevention work, like all over the world. But the part that hit me was if one person would have showed kindness to him,
Yes.
if one person, because that would have probably spoke to him a level of understanding, a level of being seen, you know.
Wow.
That's what empathy can do. Instead of me judging your world or trying to correct your world or trying to discredit it, let me see where you're coming from.
Right.
Let me understand your journey more, you know. And it's crucial, especially in the climate we're in today in this world,
Yeah.
because it seems more and more people are practicing empathy less. Like we don't want to understand each other. We more want to criticize, judge, and attack each other, right?
Right.
In homes, in relationships, almost like it doesn't matter what you need or how you see it. It's what I want,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And when you practice empathy, it helps you understand more where they're at. I get where you're feeling. And this is across all relationships, right? If you want to have healthy relationships, you have to practice empathy. One of the things I had to learn in my over 20 years of being married, right? When my wife would initially come to me with something, I'd immediately go to fix it.
Mm.
And then I started noticing she would be like, never mind.
Yep.
And then one time I was like, why are you saying never mind? You came to me with whatever you had going on, and I'm telling you what to do. And you're talking about never mind. What's your problem? She said, did you ever think maybe I just wanted to be heard?
Wow. She said that to you.
Yeah. She said, did you ever think about I just wanted to be heard? I didn't want you to just fix it. I wanted you to hear me. I wanted to feel like I had a space where I could talk about what was going on within me. But you immediately went to fix it. Now, of course, that wasn't my intent for her to not feel like she's hurting, but it was my lack of understanding that that's what she needed. And I'm like, I think I'm doing a good thing. Let me help you fix it. So what I started doing was I said, what if when you come to me, I ask, do you want ear or do you want me to kind of help you figure it out?
That's good.
And whichever one you say, that's what I'll go with.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we initially started practicing it, when she would say, I want your ear inside, I'm like,
I want to
because there's 1,000. Yeah, there's 1,000 different things I want to say.
Yes.
We could have been done with this in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Let me just say it. But no, that wasn't me practicing empathy. That wasn't me getting an understanding of where she was.
So powerful.
So it's like, and especially when you're in crisis, right? Because like I said, so many people, we see so much in the world now, people are like on their own islands. Like that's your business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what you got going on. And when you're talking about, especially like you're talking about college students and suicidal ideation in college students, it's huge,
Mm-hmm.
but it's often not talked about. Their pain is often masked in partying, overachievement. You know what I mean? False connections.
Family expectation.
Exactly. And they feel so much pressure and they often don't talk about it. And what if nobody's checking in with them? Like I got a college student. My oldest is in college, second year, but he's designated a junior. He and I talk a lot and I'll check in and say, how's your heart? You know what I mean? Because I want him to know he has a space where he can come in and you're not going to get judged and you're not going to get Mr. Fix It. You're going to get me showing up with empathy.
Yeah.
Like, help me understand what's going on with you. Help me see it through your lenses. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love that. Hearing from a father saying, how's your heart? I love that.
Yeah. I do it with my friends too. Like, really, that's been created a lot. I have a circle of friends that are clinicians as well. And we help each other work with things. And we came up with concepts, started asking each other, how's your heart? And even practicing telling each other, like, love you without putting love you, bruh, love you, man. Initially, when we started, it felt weird.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, this is strange. But helping each other, like, grow and get out of different spaces. It takes empathy to show up like that. for others. Because like I said, you're getting in their world. You're getting an understanding of where they're at instead of just going along with, well, the way I see it, or how I think you should see this and how I think you should feel. No, it's help me understand how you feel.
Mm, so good. And what's so powerful about what you're saying is that the fixer really believes they're making an impact. They're doing something important. And it's like, no, we don't want you to fix it.
Not unless I've asked you to help me fix it, right?
Yeah.
And the fixer's not doing it from a place of like malice.
Right.
It's like, well, if you brought it to me, you've brought it to me because you want me to help you with solutions. Maybe after I felt seen and heard, we'll go there. But sometimes I might not want that from jump. So
good. So good. Powerful. Wow. Well, your clients are very fortunate to have you. You ask about their heart. Oh, when do men do that?
we need to do it more. It's a foreign concept though, right?
Yes.
You ever heard of a guy, his name's Jason Wilson.
Mm-mm.
He wrote this book. He has some dojos in Detroit. He's a martial arts instructor. And he teaches young boys how to be free from emotional incarceration and how to be more emotionally intelligent. And he wrote a book called Cry Like a Man. That's the first book he wrote.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he also wrote a book called Battle Cry. And another book he's written that's new is about being a comprehensive man. And men and crying is often something that you try to separate from because you feel like it's an attack against your masculinity, right?
Right.
Or it's been taken from you at a very early age where crying often is a stress relieving thing. It's a stress relieving and it's a coping mechanism, even to the fact that tears carry stress hormones in them. So when you cry, you're literally releasing stress hormones.
Didn't know that.
But if you cried when you were a little boy and you got slapped or choked or you got belittled or called certain things, you got told men don't cry, you'll pull away from that, but you'll cry in other ways, right? Oftentimes the aggression and violence and the other things are cries.
Yes.
They're just my tears coming down. So as men, we need to be more open to that. And we need to know that us identifying where we're at emotionally doesn't make us less of a man. Yet you also have to know where you're sharing it, right? You have to have safe spaces.
Yes.
And we need more of that because we are burdened down with everything they're carrying. And we don't have places where we get to unpack. And we often use avoidance strategies that create negative consequences for us.
Yes. So good. So, after all that you're saying, would you say you encourage our listeners to get into some form of mental health therapy of some kind?
Whether it's mental health therapy, I'm also a clinician that thinks that is not the only place where people can heal and grow. I feel like you can grow from coaching. I feel like you can grow from healthy relationships. One of the biggest things that helps heal trauma is healthy, safe relationships. Because often when people experience traumatic wounds, the parts of them that they used to use to connect, now those parts are used to protect you. You know what I mean? So when you start getting around healthy, safe relationships, it starts to tell your nervous system that, you know what, it's okay for me to be in some of these spaces. No, they're not going to use me. No, they're not going to hurt me. You know what I mean? So therapy is a wonderful thing. And I am a person that believes anybody can benefit from therapy. Yet also, you can also benefit from other spaces. You can benefit from support groups. You can benefit from coaching. You can benefit from healthy relationships and friendships. You can benefit from religious and spiritual connections, right? You can benefit from these other spaces. I think therapy is wonderful as well, because I think sometimes we call things therapy that aren't there. Like I work out 5 to 6 days a week. A lot of people call the gym their therapy, and they can't stand it when, but as a therapist, I say the gym is not therapy. The gym is therapeutic. It releases feel-good hormones like serotonin. You feel better. You feel relieved. You know what I mean? You may feel energized. You may work some things out while you're lifting, but therapy will not address some of the patterns of things that you engage in, some of the things that have happened to you in the past, some of your traumas. It may not help you work through things and address some things and address your thinking. So it's therapeutic, but it's not therapy. I've never lifted and had a childhood wound be addressed.
I hear you.
What I was feeling at the time may have shifted. Like, oh man, that was a good workout. I came in here stressed out and blah, blah, blah. But it still didn't address that wound. Therapy did, you know.
So good.
Yeah. So it's not a knock. Because like I said, I work out 5 to 6 days a week. Obviously, I'm pro lifting. I'm pro going to the gym. Yet you don't want to call it something it's not at the same time.
So good. This has been so powerful. I love how we just really took a slow, deep dive into it. And I really feel your heart for sure in your work. And I'm so grateful to have met you. And I'm thinking about final words. You know, we always wrap this up with words of encouragement for that listener, you know, that just, you know, just maybe feeling anxious or embarrassed to just share that they are in crisis. Do you have any words of advice?
I do. And my word of advice is number one, even if you may not feel like you care, there are people that do. And even if you feel alone, there are people out there that don't want you to carry your burdens by yourself. And even if you're in that space at the time where you're at temporarily, you don't want to dictate and make decisions that are permanent in that space. So I encourage them, reach out to somebody, whether it's the crisis number text.
Well, 988. Mm-hmm.
988, yep, whether it's 988 or maybe if it's calling the actual number, the suicide prevention hotline, whether it's talking to, if you're in college, talking to a counselor or a close friend, just talking to somebody because there is somebody out there that cares, even if you feel like they don't. And even though you may feel embarrassed, even though you may feel down or you may feel like it makes you look like you're weak, you're not weak. It is much more of a display of strength to ask for help than it is to try to take it on by yourself and carry it by yourself. So asking for help is an ultimate sign of strength because people need to understand it's okay to not be okay.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. And if a SEAL can save a man,
exactly,
there's something greater at work happening.
Exactly.
We don't even need to preach today, but there's a whole other element to that.
A whole nother element. The thing is, when you're in that space, you think you're the only one going through it, right? But if you say something, which is such an act of courage, it really is. It's such an act of courage and it can feel so scary because people often feel like they're burdening people.
Yeah.
And nobody really wants to ever be a burden to somebody. But those are like the lies that ideation will tell you and crisis will tell you. Nobody cares. You're a burden. Don't trouble them. Don't bother them. But you're not a burden.
Mm-hmm.
You're not troubling them. You know what I mean? You matter.
Yes.
We all matter.
Yes. Fantastic. This is great. Well, if they want to reach out to you, because wow, I feel like whoever our listeners are, they need to run and find you. So where do you want to
they can find?
Go ahead.
They can find me on Instagram at Clifton_Bright_LCPC. They can find me at Clifton Bright on Facebook. Or they can shoot me an email at cliftonbrightjr@gmail.com.
All right. Well, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you. Happy 20th anniversary to you and your wife.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you for coming back to us. This has been an honor. I appreciate you.
It's an honor that you even allowed me and sent the invite.
Oh,
I really appreciate it. And I know you said I showed up for you, you know, when you were in that space and dealing with the grief of your father passing.
yeah.
When you initially invited me, and I've never told you this, that helped me so much because I was just getting into that space where I was doing podcasts and people were asking me to speak at things. And I really was in a space where I'm like, I don't really have anything to say to anybody. I don't really have anything to contribute to anybody. And doing your podcast initially helped me so much. So I appreciate you and I thank you because it really helped me get into the next space that I needed to get into. So nothing you're doing is in vain. All of it is powerful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Woo, you're a blessing. All right. Before I get to going and pouring over here, it has been wonderful. I thank you. You have a fantastic evening, and I will be in touch with you very soon. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You take care. Thank you for joining us. So if therapy is not an option for you, be sure to seek out safe relationships that help you heal, or call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for immediate assistance. For more information about other episodes, remember to subscribe to the Back to Me podcast, College and Beyond. I'm your host, Yoli Tamu. Leave a review at the end of this podcast, and if you would like to learn more about other special events, join our community on our YouTube channel at the Back to Me podcast, or simply text Back to Me to 833-206-4565. Until next time, be well.